Let's delve into the tragic history of Jewish children during the Holocaust, a dark chapter in human history that saw the systematic persecution and extermination of 6 million Jews by the Nazi regime. Among these victims were approximately 1.5 million children, whose lives were irrevocably altered or cut short by the horrors of this genocide. The impact on Jewish children was profound. They faced unimaginable loss, separation from their families, and the constant threat of violence. This somber exploration aims to shed light on their stories, emphasizing the innocence lost and the dreams extinguished during this horrific period. In the years leading up to World War II, Germany experienced a tumultuous socio-political climate marked by economic instability and rising nationalism. The aftermath of World War I and the Treaty of Versailles fostered resentment among many Germans, creating fertile ground for extremist ideologies. The Nazi Party, led by Adolf Hitler, capitalized on this discontent, promoting a narrative that scapegoated Jews for the nation's woes. As a result, Jews faced increasing marginalization and disenfranchisement, stripped of their rights and subjected to widespread discrimination. By 1933, when Hitler came to power, approximately 500,000 Jews lived in Germany, with many choosing to emigrate to escape the growing hostility. However, a significant number remained, believing they could weather the storm. Following the invasion of Poland in September 1939, the Nazis escalated their anti-Jewish policies, implementing more severe measures that included forced relocation, confiscation of property, and the establishment of ghettos. This period marked a drastic shift from social ostracism to systematic persecution, laying the groundwork for the horrors of the Holocaust. The socio-political environment not only devastated the Jewish community, but also set a precedent for the widespread acceptance of anti-Semitic ideologies that would lead to unimaginable atrocities during the war. During the Holocaust, Jewish children were specifically targeted by the Nazi regime, facing brutal realities that shattered their innocence and hope. Under Nazi rule, these children were subjected to relentless persecution based on racial and biological grounds, deemed inferior and a threat to the so-called Aryan race. The Nazis propagated a dehumanizing ideology that portrayed Jews as subhuman, justifying their systematic extermination. Jewish children were forcibly removed from schools, separated from their families, and stripped of their childhoods, often living in fear and uncertainty. Many were confined to overcrowded ghettos, where they faced starvation, disease, and violence. The tragic fate of approximately 1.5 million Jewish children during the war underscores the profound loss inflicted by this genocide. Many were murdered in mass shootings or deported to concentration camps, where survival was nearly impossible. The innocence of these children was extinguished, their dreams and potential lost forever. This targeted violence against the youngest and most vulnerable members of the Jewish community serves as a haunting reminder of the depths of human cruelty. By remembering their stories, we honor their memory and reinforce the importance of vigilance against hatred and intolerance in our world today. Their legacy compels us to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. Jorge André K. was a young Jewish boy born into a wealthy family in pre-war Europe, enjoying a life of privilege and comfort. His family resided in a lavish apartment in Paris, where they were well known in high society, often attending cultural events and gatherings that celebrated art and intellect. Jorge's father played a significant role in the community as a prominent physician at the esteemed Rothschild Hospital, a facility renowned for its dedication to providing exceptional medical care. This connection not only highlighted the family's affluence, but also their commitment to humanitarian efforts, as the hospital served many in need, regardless of their background. Jorge's upbringing was filled with opportunities, from private schooling to travel, allowing him to cultivate a love for learning and exploration. However, as the clouds of war gathered over Europe, the idyllic life Jorge knew began to unravel. The rise of anti-Semitic sentiment and the impending threat of Nazi occupation would soon shatter his world. As the war progressed, Jorge's experiences would transform from those of a carefree child to a harrowing journey of survival, resilience, and loss, setting the stage for a poignant narrative that reflects the broader tragedy faced by countless Jewish families during this dark period in history. The German invasion of France in May 1940 marked a devastating turning point for the Jewish community, shattering their sense of safety and stability. As German troops swiftly advanced, the immediate effects were felt across the nation, with widespread panic and uncertainty gripping Jewish families. By June 22, 1940, the signing of the armistice led to the division of France, with the northern zone falling under direct German control. This occupation brought about a series of oppressive measures targeting Jews, including the confiscation of property, restrictions on movement, and the implementation of discriminatory laws. The situation escalated dramatically with the onset of deportations, as thousands of Jewish families were rounded up and sent to concentration camps, often with little warning. In the midst of this chaos, Jorge's father emerged as a beacon of hope, tirelessly working to protect Jewish families from the impending threat. He utilized his position at the Rothschild hospital to provide refuge and assistance, helping families secure false identities and navigate the dangers of the occupation. Despite the overwhelming odds, his efforts exemplified the resilience and solidarity within the Jewish community, as they sought to support one another in the face of unimaginable adversity during this harrowing period. The events leading to the deportation of Jorge and his family unfolded with chilling rapidity. In the summer of 1942, the family was arrested by Alois Brunner, a notorious Nazi officer known for his ruthless efficiency in carrying out deportations. One fateful night, armed soldiers stormed their home, shattering the fragile sense of security they had clung to. Jorge and his family were forcibly taken and transported to Drancy, a transit camp on the outskirts of Paris, where countless Jews awaited their grim fate. The atmosphere was filled with despair as families were separated, with Jorge's father and mother taken to one area while Jorge and his siblings were placed in another. The chaos and fear were palpable, as they realized the extent of their peril. In a stroke of luck, Jorge's siblings managed to escape during the confusion, slipping away into the night, but Jorge was left behind, unable to join them. The tragic fate of Jorge's family was sealed when they were ultimately deported to Auschwitz, where they perished in the horrors of the Holocaust. This heartbreaking chapter in Jorge's life serves as a poignant reminder of the devastating impact of hatred and the fragility of family bonds during one of history's darkest times. Jorge's experiences in the concentration camps of Auschwitz and Neuengamme were marked by unimaginable suffering and inhumane conditions that stripped away the innocence of childhood. Upon arrival, he was confronted with overcrowded barracks, where families were crammed into small spaces, deprived of basic necessities such as food, clean water, and sanitation. The stench of despair permeated the air, and the constant fear of violence loomed large. Children, in particular, faced brutal realities. They were often subjected to medical experiments that aimed to test the limits of human endurance. These experiments, conducted without consent, inflicted severe physical and psychological trauma on Jorge and his peers, leaving them scared both inside and out. The emotional toll was equally devastating, as the loss of family members and the separation from loved ones weighed heavily on their young hearts. Jorge witnessed the suffering of fellow children, many of whom succumbed to illness or despair, further deepening his sense of hopelessness. The relentless hunger, cold, and fear eroded their spirits, transforming vibrant lives into mere shadows of existence. Jorge's resilience was tested daily, as he clung to memories of his family and the hope for a future that seemed increasingly out of reach amidst the horrors surrounding him. On April 20, 1945, Jorge and other children faced the horrific culmination of their suffering in a tragic execution that would forever haunt the annals of history. As the war drew to a close, the Nazi regime, desperate to eliminate any remaining witnesses to their atrocities, orchestrated a brutal massacre. The children, already worn down by the relentless hardships of camp life, were herded into a makeshift execution area under the pretense of relocation. Nazi officials, cold and calculating, oversaw the operation, their faces devoid of empathy as they prepared to carry out their heinous orders. The atmosphere was thick with fear and confusion, as the children, many of whom were still clinging to the hope of survival, were met with the grim reality of their fate. In a matter of moments, innocent lives were extinguished, snuffed out by the very hands that had promised to uphold order and security. Jorge, along with countless others, became a victim of this senseless violence, a tragic loss that underscored the depths of human cruelty. The massacre not only robbed families of their children, but also erased the potential and dreams of a generation, leaving an indelible scar in humanity's collective memory. The aftermath of the Holocaust left an indelible mark on history, prompting a global reckoning with the atrocities committed during this dark period. In the years following World War II, the Nuremberg trials were established to hold accountable those responsible for the heinous crimes against humanity. These trials serve not only as a means of justice, but also as a powerful reminder of the need to confront and condemn hatred and intolerance. In addition to legal proceedings, various associations and organizations were founded to honor the memory of the victims, ensuring that their stories would not be forgotten. I hope you found the details of this story as fascinating and unsettling as I did. You, mysterious, curious, intellectual, disturbed, beautiful people. My name is Penny Flick, with Kreep-ish. I look forward to sharing more of these stories that captivate and intrigue our minds, which can challenge our way of thinking. Comment on your thoughts below as I continue to uncover the mysteries of our history, true crime, paranormal, conspiracy, and cringe-worthy, creepy content. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember that the truth is often stranger than fiction.